Myself. Now let's talk about an actual island.
Yeah, Vashon Island.
Okay, Shango, let's come
I thought you were going to go that way towards Danica, so I was kind of napping out, and I'm like, oh, my turn. So I'm Shango Los. I'm the founder of the Vashon Island Marijuana Entrepreneurs Alliance, and the community organizing that I was responsible for on my island is a little different than what you've heard so far. I realized that back when Washington State still had medical, we had about 156 producers of various, some were growers, some were value-added products like edibles and things like that. But everyone worked independently because most of them were Prohibition-era growers. And you know, as we all know, Prohibition-era growers don't tend to come out of the shadows very easily and connect. They take a little encouragement. And that's what I decided I wanted to do, because all of our growers and edibles makers were working as if they had to make the entire change themselves. They were selling their products locally, and because everyone was selling their products locally, the prices were incredibly low on Vashon Island, but the growers were barely making subsistence level income. And so what I did is I formed our first trade organization and brought the growers together and said, hey, listen, I'm going to go ahead and make relationships for you with the medical dispensaries over throughout the state, and you can pool your flower, and then we'll create a channel for them to go to the medical dispensaries, and oh yeah, well, you'll be making twice as much as you're making now. And they're all like, we like your business plan, you know? And then we realized that if we bring together the growers, they can bulk purchase living soil. So now living soil is now at a price that they can afford, and that was great. And then they're like, all right, we really want to do probiotic nutrients, but they're so expensive, you know, and the crappy salt nutrients are cheap. And so sometimes we have to use that, but we don't really want to. So I'm like, well, let's get everybody together who wants to do probiotic nutrients, and let's buy them in bulk. So we did that. And so what we did is we took a community of 150 some producers and pulled them into one. So they, for the first time, began to speak with one voice, and we were able to start getting coverage in the newspaper as an organization and create the conversation that growers are people too. Growers don't need to be on the fringe. Being a grower and creating medicine for people is an honorable role to play in the community and not something that we need to tolerate. So unfortunately, you know, with July of last year, the state dismantled the medical marijuana industry in the state, and unfortunately, you know, the state really turned their back on all of these grassroots entrepreneurs that came out of the shadows and decided, okay, we will participate with you in this experiment of medical marijuana in Washington. And unfortunately, since very few of those people were allowed to make the transition to the commercial market, almost all of these businesses were pushed out of business by the state. And I think that's a shame. It put these parents in the position of, I either need to decide to keep the income from the business that I've been doing for the last 5-10 years and be illegal, or I need to give up the income. And what we've done with the kids' extra summer camp and all the extra things that come with being able to have a successful business. So unfortunately, we had to pivot at that point because we went from 156 producers on the island to 4. And while those 4 producers are still excellent, and we're proud of them in 502, that leaves 152 other families that had their businesses crushed. So we pivoted to becoming more of a patient and community outreach organization, and we host fantastic speakers meetings that bring in people from all over, where we talk about cannabis health and technique. The 2 points I wanted you to make sure you get from this is, number 1, look for a reason to pull people together. We didn't have an organization, and the growers didn't think they needed an organization until we thought about, why don't we pull everybody together so that we have more strength together? And then second, when the Washington State bureaucracy killed our market, we pivoted to become patient outreach so that we could still keep coming together and keep exerting influence. So those are the 2 things that I want to point out. Thanks.